Welcome back, you beautiful people, to another episode of Heroes of Camelot with Tito. Something I want to talk about that I know I get asked a fair amount, that I asked a lot when I first started, is how do I build a good team? How do I build good parties? And how do I build a good deck? I guess the first principle that I would say when discussing how to make a good party and good deck would be to understand that every card you have has something that's called a combo. What's important is that you see here at the bottom, Blazing Percival, when combined with Celestial Galahad, this other card, has a passive that will increase the max HP of your party or your team by 200%. These combos are so powerful and so important when making your deck that it's important to understand that the true power of your deck comes from not just the individual cards, but the cards you combine your cards with. So, like for example, I like this right here. When you combine Maelgwn Pendragon with Fisher King, you have this combo of Forgotten Kings that allows you to stun. You have Lords of the Grail. So whenever you combine Maelgwn Pendragon, Fisher King, and Sir Gawain, you increase attack by 200%, skill proc by 11%, and reflect damage by 25%. The combos and what combos you do in your team are the absolute foundational pillar to any deck you're going to build. Next thing I'd say is you see at the bottom here, you see bonuses, right? What this is, let's just take a look at this. So for having 3 parties, all cards, it says right here, the current level requirement, all cards in your party are 7-star or above. So because every single one of the cards in my deck right here in my party is 7 stars, then I have this activated right here in the middle. The active effect is that it raises the max HP and attack of the entire party, my entire deck, by 6%. We look here at the level bonus. All cards in your party are level 70 or above. Raise your max HP and attack by 10%. So we're already at increasing our party's max HP and attack by 16%, I believe. And then right here, attack bonus level 5, have a party has at least 150,000 HP. So that raises your party's max attacks by 5%. And then there's one for having a party that has at least 45,000 attack, or increases your max HP by 5%. You have a full party, so all 3 of your teams in your party are full. As you can see, reduces the mana cost by 30, which is really nice. Awakening bonus, I did a video on how to awaken cards. So party has 2 teams of awakened cards. I have a one here that I haven't awakened here, and that's Smolodin. So that team doesn't get a bonus. That's why I don't have 3 cards. But it raises your max attack by 4%. And then you have your evolution bonus. Reduces the mana cost when fighting bosses. This is not activated because my King Ragnar is only tier 1. This means that all your cards in your deck have to be at least tier 2 to get the lowest benefit of this, which is to have the decrease in mana cost. So those are things that are really important. I would not worry about that as a new player, but as you're getting those city events that I'm talking about, you're getting summon storms, you're getting new cards, and you're able to level those cards up. That's when you're really wanting to take advantage of these deck bonuses. It's really important to get that, because you're talking about increasing in HP, your entire deck's HP and attack by at least 25% per. So that's really important. Another important thing to talk about when building a deck is how you see here. I have the 3 teams. Where you place your cards hierarchically in your team. For example, team 1, I have Blazing Percival first, and then followed by Smolodin, then Chariot Spearman, and Chariot Bowman in number 4. This is important to note because whoever you put first in your team, right, in any team, it has the best chance that their card skill, like you see here, Blazing Percival's card skill is Feigned Honor, stun enemy party once per battle, and their passives or their 7-star ability 75% chance to revive team with 15% HP upon death twice per battle. Whoever's in the number one spot in your team will have the highest chance of those abilities procking off and being used. Then, obviously whoever's in number two spot has the second highest chance of their of their card skill and or passives or abilities going, and so on and so forth. So it's important once you have your entire deck put together, you have your teams. It's important to look at who's in that team and whose skill you want to use, and then number them in that and order them accordingly. A third principle I'd say, looking at whenever you're building a party or deck, is we talked about combos, but what kind of combos? So typically what the ordering is when you're building a deck is team one will be your tank team. That's the one where you want to have reflection, prevention, damage prevention, damage mitigation, shielding, and HP. That's what you want to have in your first team, and revives, because the longer that tank team stays in the fight and absorbs damage, the longer you're able to deal damage and to hurt the other team. So it's really important to have survivability built into your team one. The second team, you typically have a bit more option when you're building this, because you can either build team two to be a healing team, so you're focusing on healing, increasing healing effectiveness. You're talking about having card skills that have healing abilities, increasing magic and magic shields and physical attack shields and all kinds of things like that. Or you can do what I'm doing here. I'm working more on having a chance for an insta kill when your party kills another team instantly. Invalidation, as you can see right here, Hypocrites has a 75% chance to freeze enemy party, invalidate their prevention and reflection skills, or both. Basically what that is saying is just that all those things that a typical tank team has, where it's building up that damage mitigation, prevention, shielding, buffing, all that kind of stuff, that Hypocrites will invalidate that. So that's and then also Lord Fluffington has a very similar ability, and Bonnie, this one has a chance to remove HP. So the combinations also have a chance for an insta kill. So that's kind of the route I like to go with for a team too. Also mainly just because I don't have a lot of great healing cards. And then your third team typically is your DPS, your tank team. One thing I will say about this, I am running a very basic but also very effective attack team. I am running Maelgwyn Pendragon, which you can easily get this card on. He's the boss of City 1 in Nightmare mode. You can farm him, get 8 cards, and you get a really good strong attack card, because his passive is to increase his individual card's attack by 125%. Then also you have Sir Gawain, whose passive is to increase max HP, that's the team's HP, by 125%, and skill proc by 15%. So that's really fantastic to have, and he's easy to get as well. You can farm him. He's the wandering boss on City 10 on normal mode. And then Fisher King, you can get at least one copy from the Champions Tower. I think maybe 2 you can get from the Champions Tower by completing certain levels and opening up those boxes. But he also has increased HP by 125% and reflect by 12%. But what I really like about this, and also Garrus, you can't really get him anywhere other than doing summons from specific chests that contain him, and also from doing chests of chests each month. But he has a passive to increase max attack, your entire party's attack, by 145%. What I like most about this team, I'll say this attack team, and I'm focusing on this because that's what people really want and they want to know about. As you can see, these 3 icons here in the bottom left, anytime you combine Gawain and Garrus together, it increases max HP and max attack by 95%. So you're increasing the entire team's, all 4 of these cards, HP and attack by 95%. You have when you combine Fisher King and Male Gwen Pendragon, you have a chance to stun the enemy team. Decent, I'll take it. Nothing fancy. And then Lords of the Grail. Whenever time you combine Gwen, Fisher King, and Male Gwen Pendragon, you have ability to the passive to increase attack by 200%, skill proc by 11, and reflect by 25%. Now, if you've been keeping track with other cards, now we're up to I think 26% increase in skill proc and 37% reflection and damage, which isn't bad. But also, what I really like about this is Gwen's increase to max HP, Fisher King's passive of increasing his innate HP personally, and then Garrus's 95% combo with Gwen to increase max HP. Because what you want to avoid, you can do certainly. I don't prefer it, but you can make a glass cannon team, which means you really bump up and ramp up the damage and the DPS it's able to do. But it doesn't have a lot of survivability as very low HP. I think when this team right now, and it's not even perfect 8-card tier 4 out there. My Fisher King is only at tier 2, and my Garrus is I think 3-carded tier 3. But whenever it's out in a fight, it's at 8.5 million HP and 8.7 million attack. So really these things, these percentages, these passives really go a long way to building that attack. So I like to have that built-in survivability for my attack team, and I think you might as well. But like I said, very easy to get, very easy for free to get for a new player. So that's why I wanted to take some time talking about that and where to find those cards. But that's basically the principles I wanted to talk about. Just understanding these bonuses here and how to activate them later on as you're able to build up and strengthen your cards. And then also just ordering your cards in a numbered hierarchy in each team, and then what role each team typically can have. Now you can do whatever you want to do, but this is the typical meta when we talk about building a team. So anyhow, I hope these guides are helping you out. I hope you guys are enjoying them. Leave a like, comment below. If you want to hit me up, I'm on Eve104. You can also find me online. That's Tito with an O, not a 0, rocks, and that's on my line ID. Hit me up with any questions or questions or complaints you might have. Anyhow, well, I hope you guys have a good afternoon, and I'll see you in the next episode.